Hi, welcome to FingerNailFixer video. Please forgive the background noises. This video was filmed in quarantine and I do live on a farm. For this video, let's play with alcohol inks. We're going to start off with a black nail. Complete the black nail in your system of choice. I happen to use shellac, so this nail has been done with black pool in 2 layers and completed with top coat. Once you've completed your system with the gel polish of your choice, go ahead and apply the tack-free top coat that you like. Come in and apply your favorite chrome. Use the chrome method that you prefer. And then get a bit of good scrub to get it nice and shiny like a chrome nail should be. Once you have your nice shiny chrome nail, we're going to do something crazy. We're going to apply matte top coat. And here's where I like to keep the system together for the artwork. Since I'm going to be using profile inks from Profiles Backstage, you can find a link in the caption. I'm going to use Profiles Matte Top Coat because I want to keep the artwork systemized. Once the chrome is applied and scrubbed in, I would just apply my matte top coat that goes with the inks that I'm using. And that's just a personal preference. If you have a matte top coat that you prefer, go ahead and use your favorite matte top coat. I just wanted to keep the system together for the artwork because I'm weird like that. Place that in the lamp to cure on the setting that it needs to cure for the lamp that you use. And through the power of video making, I already have one that's cured, so we don't have to hang out and wait for that one to finish. For this specific video, I'd like to complete a really cool reptile print. And I'd like to incorporate a little bit of metallic gray, some green, and some teal. This one happens to be called Kiwi on the website. The green is called Emerald on the website. And the metallic gray is actually called metallic gray. Nice and simple. What's really fun about doing the inks over the top of the chrome is that it brings the chrome back out from the matte top coat. Gonna do a swipe of green down the center, another swipe to make the green brighter, and then just some dots of green down the sides. This is the quick part of the design. You'll see what I mean here in a second when we actually go to start designing it. Take the kiwi or the teal and do dots in between the greens. Then come in with your metallic gray and do a swipe on either side of the green. And then I'm going to do something really weird and go back over the whole thing really lightly with green. And now you see I have varying hues of green. Some of it's a little lighter, some of it's a little darker, and then you can see where the teal is and where the gray is. So I have different layers of green. Next, we're going to use some alcohol in a dappen dish to start creating and playing with the design. For this design, I want a little bit larger head on the brush so it soaks up more alcohol because I'm going to create larger circles to begin with. So soak up some alcohol in your brush. Make sure it's not actually dripping wet, that it's just got some soaked in. And start here in the middle and rub a circle into the center of the nail with the alcohol. Go back and grab some more alcohol. Come back and work on rubbing your circle in. Now we're going to start working up from the circle and do smaller circles. Then go down from the circle, again in smaller circles. And see how it clears out that space where you're rubbing the circle? That's just the alcohol dispersing the ink and leaving behind that funky outline. Next, I want to make a little bit smaller circles in between the two circles along the lines. I don't want to put it right up against there because it will bleed and knock out my other two circles. So you want to leave a little bit of space and start the center of your circles out here so that the lines will butt up against those circles. You do want them to be a little smaller though. So I'm going to turn the nail so that I can see. Start my circle here and work its way over. Remember, I want it to be a little smaller. I don't want it to be as big as those original circles. You'll notice that I kind of skipped over that center circle where it's so big. The purpose of that was so that I could align my circles with the spaces and then come back and center that middle circle between the two circles that were aligned with the spaces. And then everything's all lined up. Turn the nail to the other side and do the same thing. And notice I'm kind of patting the brush on the side of the dappen dish to make sure I'm draining it a little bit before I go onto the nail so that the brush has some alcohol absorbed up into it, but it's not going onto that nail soaking wet. Then I'm going to come over here and make little bitty circles in between these where there's room. Depending on the size of the nail, you may not really have any room to go in between these circles to finish out your pattern. So that's really going to be dependent on the size of your nail. Now what's cool about the inks, if you decide, that's a little more space than I want, what you could do is come back in and just brush on a little bit of ink, give it a few seconds to dry, and have a do-over. So maybe I decided I kind of made those a little too round, so I'm going to make this a little more oblong in that center section. So this time I'm going to rub a little more sideways rounded versus circle rounded and split that middle bubble into two. And I can still manipulate the bubbles above and below it to make them more oblong as well, because the alcohol can continue to manipulate the ink until I top coat it. And you can do the same thing with your side bubbles. If you decide, I I think it needs to be a little more oblong. I'm not really sure about the round. Or if you decide it needs to be a little more round, you don't like the oblong, you can continue to manipulate it until you top coat it. And if you decide, this doesn't look like the right type of reptile, you do a little Google search and it's like, this doesn't look like the reptile that I wanted it to, you can easily change your print just by using the alcohol to manipulate the print in a different way. Once you are happy with the print that you have designed, you're ready to apply your top coat. And this is where you can just apply the top coat that you're happiest with. I'm going to go ahead and come back to the top coat that I would normally use for the base system. So since I use shellac, I'm just going to apply shellac original top coat. You can use whichever top coat you would normally use in the salon for your usual gel polish system. What's so cool about using the inks over chromes is when you come back in and apply the top coat, the chrome pops up through your ink design. And so now not only do we have a wicked fun and easy reptile print, it also is holographic. And we just pop this in for a top coat cure. If you have questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I would also appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel and leave any video requests that you have in the comments. If you are curious about the colors that I used or brushes or anything about products used in the video, you can find them in the video caption. Just gonna stick my brush in the alcohol and clean him off really well, and then wipe him off really well so that he's good to go for next time. And what I've done for my alcohol brushes is just kind of taken out some of my nail art brushes that were starting to get worn out. They're a little bent to the side, or they're getting a little fuzzy from being well used. And those have now been dedicated to being my alcohol brushes because they do get stained from the inks. When you're finished with the cure, you are ready to wipe that nail off with some clean alcohol to remove that top film if you use a top coat that has top film. And then make sure you charge what you're worth because your time has value, and show off that great new design on your favorite social media platform. I hope you had fun playing with alcohol inks and creating this cool holographic shimmery reptile design with me. Thanks for joining. Have fun nailing it.